Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if it's your first time joining me, welcome. Now guys, I know I've been gone for too long, but 2021 has been a lot, and also I've been studying towards my APC exam. I had to prepare, I had to do the APT program, so to that combined with work, I just didn't have much spare time to be doing YouTube. So that's why I've been so gone for too long. But I've just written my APC exam on the 3rd of December, and that is the whole purpose of this video, because I'm sure some of you have seen from Twitter that there were a lot of complaints surrounding the APC exam, and I'm just here to tell you guys about my personal experience of what went down during my APC exam. So if you guys are interested in hearing my story time slash experience of my APC exam, keep on watching. So guys, I'm just gonna dive right into what happened, what I experienced on the 3rd, right? So I woke up like any other student who was going to write an exam at 9. You wake up very early and you try to make sure that you didn't leave anything out when you were packing. So it was just a matter of like putting my file in my bag, putting my calculator and all of that stuff. So I think I left home around I left home around half 7, and I live in Centurion, so it's quite close to Midrand. I was writing at the Joburg venue, which is at Galaga in Midrand, so um, I could leave home at around half 7. So my mom actually drove me to the exam venue, and she dropped me off. I was anxious because this is my final board exam, of course. Like the last time I wrote an exam was that when I wrote ITC back in 2020 January, so it had been long. I was kind of anxious. I mean, it had been also a long time coming because we had been practicing with the APT program, which was also a lot. I'm gonna do a separate video of my breakdown of the APT journey, basically doing the program up until the day I wrote. But in this video we're just going to be talking about the experience, the APC experience. So I got there. I'm a bit anxious, but I'm hopeful. I even made a reel because I saw this other reel that I found to be very interesting, because that's basically me. If you've watched my videos, you know that I do not play about exams. I pray for them, I pray about them, and I even go to the venue worshiping. So I just thought that creating that reel would be quite interesting. I might put it here so that you guys can see the reel that I created. My mom helped me with that. Shout out to my mom. She's always going with all my ideas, and I think that's so cute.
Hold on.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
Holy Spirit,
no. Oh, no.
activate. Holy Spirit, activate. 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 All right, let's go.
Exam, I got there like just before 9, so I got into the exam and I located my seat, and then I sat down. So with APC, they told us that each and everybody would have a laptop they already set up for them, so you just had to walk in with your books and your calculator and whatever else you need to answer your questions, but you didn't necessarily need to bring your laptop. So if some of you guys don't know, an APC exam, it runs for 8 hours. So we're supposed to start writing at 9 and finish writing at 5. So like I said, I got in just before 9 and I settled myself down, and they were announcing that this is what you need to do to log into the computer, and then once you've logged in, you go into the software, and this software is where you can actually access your answering document. So because you're not writing on paper, you will have to get into that system and software so that you can access your Word document and your Excel document, so that you can answer your questions on there. So I'm ready. I'm logging in, I'm putting in my exam number and the name of the exam, and everything worked out there. And just as I am trying to log into the system where I can actually start writing, I realized that there's this pop-up that keeps coming that says we can't access the database, we can't access the exam as if the exam was not there. So I was one of the people who were raising their hands, like what is happening. A guy in front of me also had like a similar issue. So we were basically trying to like raise our hands so that the invigilators could come and assist us, but it seemed like the invigilators were having a hard time to address this issue, because they kept trying, it kept loading. So there was a quite some time for quite some time it was loading. And when they told everybody like, can you raise up your hands, like to so that we can see those people who are not able to access the software, the system, it was it was quite a number of people that raised their hands. So that's when I gained a bit of comfort that I wasn't the only one who was experiencing this. So this went on for around like an hour and a half, and then we got an announcement saying that they had figured out a way for us to get into the system. So then they announced this method of us entering the system, and it started working. But it had been after like 2 hours of waiting. We were supposed to start writing at 9, and by 10 we had not started. By half 10 we had not started. So it was just kind of working on, our nerves, because at some point they did announce that they've gone to fetch paper. So we must brace ourselves because we could write manually. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, when last did I write manually? Like I said, the last exam I wrote ITC, that's the last time I wrote manually for like, that's the last time I wrote on paper for 3 or more hours. So I wasn't even prepared to be writing on paper for 8 hours straight. I was just wondering how my hand was gonna be feeling. I was a bit anxious. I don't even want to lie. I was so stressed out when they announced that we might be writing manual, because I just wasn't prepared for that. So I think I went to the bathroom and I said a little prayer. I was like, God help me, please turn the situation around. I can't be writing manual because I wasn't prepared for it, and I might just be slow because I haven't been writing or with pen and paper for a long time. So I just went to the bathroom, said my little prayer, came back, sat down, and just hoped that they would find a solution. And eventually they did. So after they started fixing each and everyone's laptop, most of the people were ready to start. There were like a few people who were left who still had issues. So for those people, I think they had to keep working with them to figure out what the issue was. So what I am happy about is that with the system, it counts down the 8 hours for you. So I know everybody had to start at the same time, but for those who delayed starting, right, you still had your 8 hours. The disadvantage though was that you would then finish later than others, because I know there are some people who finished writing at 9:30, because I heard they were announcing that we shouldn't make noise when we finish, because there were still people who were writing. So I felt bad for the people like who still didn't have their laptops fixed around 11, because that's when the majority of everybody, including myself, started writing. So yeah, that was the case for some people, but for me I started writing at 11. So as soon as I got into the system, I put in my pin, verified everything, opened the Word document. I went into the the questions, to see what was the first question and stuff like that. So I went through the questions, and I started planning how I was going to answer. So the time is ticking down, right? And I am planning, and planning is an important part of answering your questions. I feel like it will help you even answer your questions faster if you have a good plan in place. So I'm pretty sure if you're doing like APC, you know that. If you're doing ITC, CTA, you know that you should plan your answers. So I'm doing that. I'm focusing on that, and I'm like, okay, I've got something now. I can start answering my first question. So I put down my layout, because we're supposed to respond to the emails, right? Put down my email layout. I start typing, good day, kindly find attached, wada wada wada, and I now start typing my answer. As soon as I start typing in my answer, my laptop shuts down. Guys, I had been waiting for 2 hours for the exam to start. This is an 8 hour exam, and I finally gotten access into the system. Time is ticking. I didn't know about that thing that your time is gonna pause. Can you just imagine how I felt? Like, I almost cried, yo. Like, I almost broke down in that exam. I was like, what is happening? Because for me, it seems like it's such a huge venue that if there's no other person in your row that's having issues, you might not even see that there are other people who are raising hands far away from you. So you might, it's possible to think that you're going through something alone. It's only after I went out of the exam I found out that other people had other different issues during the exam, because I thought that people only had issues before the exam and they were fixed. So everybody else was writing in my mind at that time. I thought everybody was writing. My laptop shuts down. I'm like, what just happened? I'm like, am I gonna get my time? So I raise up my hand, and the invigilator comes to me. And I had put my phone, which had the key code to get into the software, at the back of the venue, because that's what we were instructed to do, so that there's no. I just decided to do it because there was an option to put it under your desk, switched off face down, but I just decided to take it away from my desk. So I was sitting there and I'm asking, should I go get my phone? What should happen? And I feel like the person who I was asking didn't really know if it was okay for me to go get my phone, because I mean, it's very strict, like it's very strict. You can't be just switching on your phone. So he had to go call another person so that he could ask, because I think that person knew like how it worked. So I was just sitting there waiting. The anxiety was shooting up. I was just wondering about the time. I was just like, come on. As soon as I feel like I'm delving into my answer, this thing switches off on me. So the guy then comes, he says, okay, you need to go get your phone. I went to the back of the venue, took my phone, switched it on. They switched on the computer and they signed in, and they made me like log into the system again. So when they're logging back into the system, they have to put a code and then put a reason why you are re-logging into the system when you were writing the exam. So they just put that computer randomly shut down. So okay, I got back in and I was like, you know what, please go check with the person behind me what time they have on their laptop, so that I can compare with the time that I have, so that I know if I am not getting my time back. So he then went and checked with the lady who was sitting behind me, and he told me that she had lesser time than I did. So then I gained a bit of comfort to say, okay, fine, they are like pausing the time when my laptop shuts down. So that was fine. And I then started writing, but you feel like, when you're shaken up, like when you're shaken up by what just happened, I didn't expect the laptop to literally shut down, so I was a bit shaken up, and I was trying to now scramble to type as fast as I could. I feel like I was shaken up, and at the same time I was trying to make sure I'm putting down an answer that is accurate. And you feel like even if you had a plan, if something like that happened, your plan you kind of like in your head a lot, and you're not like, especially when you were ready to start writing and all of a sudden your laptop switches off. I feel like it messes around with your planning and how you were planning on answering, because you do write some part of the plan down on your paper, but then not everything. Some of the things you have them in your mind how you wanted to structure them. So it was like, now I have to start thinking again of how exactly I wanted to word everything. But I carried on. I tried to answer as fast as I could, and I think after like 2 hours of straight typing, my laptop shut down again. So at this point, at least I was a bit comfortable with the fact that, okay, they're pausing my time. But the fact that I kept raising my hand, and I had, just knowing that your laptop is not supposed to be doing what it's doing right now, it just throws you off, to be honest. Like, even though you know that the time is, you're gonna write longer and you're gonna finish a bit later, and your time is still gonna be 8 hours already, it's just knowing that, okay, I'm the only one who's experiencing this in, like, in my surroundings. I didn't see anyone else having issues with their laptop. So I felt like it was just kind of like I had to be positive. I had to encourage myself to be positive about it and not see it as a, like, why is this happening to me, because I could have easily fallen into that. I felt like it was creeping on me, like asking, like, why is this only happening to me, what's happening, what's wrong, am I gonna fail, that type of thing, like that type of mindset where you start sinking in your own thoughts. I just try to avoid it, because I saw that I really, at the end of the day, I really wanted to finish the exam, and it wasn't gonna help me. So I actually was praying throughout the exam, because I was like, God, I need you. God, I need you. God, I need you to help me. God, I need you to help me. So yeah, they fixed it again. They put in the code again, and I carried on with my exam. And yeah, I think I typed I think I was falling behind in terms of time, actually. Even with my time that was on my timer, I could see that I was falling behind. And even when you start trying to sit up and you're trying to type as fast as you can, it's like the time was just like moving so fast. I saw that I didn't have time when I realized that I actually didn't eat. The only thing I ate was my lunch bar, and I carried like a lunch box, juice, uh, all this type of things, sweets and all of that snacks. But I didn't touch them. I only ate the lunch bar. I didn't even drink juice. That's how much I was trying to concentrate and make sure that I finish this thing as soon as possible. But it seems like I was just chasing time, and it was just moving so fast. Like, I'm telling you, I felt like I had been in there for 2 hours, even though I had been in that venue for 12 hours. I could have continued writing even if my time didn't stop. That's how much I felt like it was just a lot to write, and not much time. So, yeah, like, I kept going. I kept trying my best. I think at some point I had like 2 hours and some minutes. I don't know if it was 30 or more minutes, or like less than 30. But I remember I feel like I had like 4 questions that I had not attempted yet, and I had to finish in 2 hours. I was trying to finish because I know if you don't attempt a question, you are most likely to fail. So I was now trying to, like, divide my time, because sometimes the thing with APC is you need to use your own judgment to see how much you need to put down. And I feel like because I had gone through all those shutdowns, I was trying to make sure that I compensate with the information that I was putting on the paper, but it was taking me long. But I was also feeling like what I was putting down was not enough. I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying to say, because at some point you need to move on to the next question, because in APC you don't get any mark allocation. You can't calculate the time that you anticipate to spend on a question like you did in ITC or CTA. So yeah, I felt like I was just chasing time constantly throughout the whole exam. And I feel like was it 1 hour before my time was up, my laptop shut down for the third time. At that point I was just like numb. Honestly, I was just like, can you guys come quickly and fix this so that I can finish, because I still had a lot to type down. So because of all the delays that were taking place throughout the exam, I told you my time was being shifted forward. So I finished maybe around, maybe 30 to 40 minutes later than everybody else. But I then found out after the exam that other people, even finished at 9:30 p.m., when we had gotten into the venue at 9. So at that point, like, when the majority of the venue finished, it was like, okay, you guys need to start submitting, and the submitting process was also a lot. So they had to announce things. So now they are announcing the speaker, because it's such a huge venue, you have to use a microphone for people to hear what you're saying. So the speaker was on blast. I'm trying to concentrate so that I can finished, and they're announcing so that everybody else can submit, which is understandable. But for me, it's like when I'm in an exam, I don't need to hear people talking, because I can't keep track of my thoughts. And I remember I had to like dig deep into my mind, like concentrate, go, what can you write, what can you put here? I'm racing against time, people are talking, like, not the students, but like the lecture, the guy who was announcing, the end of the exam, was talking, instructing everybody else. I was just like, oh my gosh, I know, like, this is not ideal, but I have to push, because at the end of the day, if I if I just give up, and if I just say, oh, if I just give up, I'm the one who's gonna face those consequences. I'm the one who's gonna be regretting. I'm the one who's gonna be, thinking about it every day. Why didn't I just push myself? So I try to like concentrate, like dig deep in my mind to hear my own voice and my own thoughts, because this microphone was overpowering my thoughts. So eventually, like, my exam was finished. So immediately, as soon as your time runs out, the system will put up a pop-up on your screen to say that your time has run out and you need to close it, and all of that jazz. So yeah, then after that, we stayed in the venue for like 2 hours trying to submit our papers. For me, I think it's because I had finished later than everybody else in my row, because they kept going one by one with each and every person in our row to see to see if your exam was backed up and if it had been uploaded onto the system, onto them, I don't know, the system where they can access it and mark it. So it was those two things. And I feel like the guy who was in our row, the invigilator who was in our row, had been having issues with his tablet that he was using to verify if everything had been done. So he was stuck at some ladies, at some place, at one of the candidates. He was stuck on her desk for a while, so we had to wait for that. So that took like another 2 hours to just get my paper to be backed up and submitted, and to verify it had if it had been submitted. I'm telling you, I was just hoping that I could just get out of the venue. That's how tired I was of just being there, and just the whole experience. I just wanted to get out of there. And I remember my mom had come back to fetch me. She had to wait outside for hours, because I'm actually happy, because before I started writing, I told my mom that we are starting a bit late, so please come a bit later than you were supposed to, because she was supposed to come maybe around 5:30 initially, had we started writing at 9. But because we started writing at 11, I was like, please come around 7:30, so that you don't wait for too long. But unfortunately, other kids could not communicate with their parents, so their parents were sitting outside waiting for them from 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. So you can imagine the tension, the anxiety. Everybody was just stressed. It was a mess. It was raining when I got out. There were parents everywhere asking, are you guys coming on finally? Which hall are you coming from? Are you coming from hall 3? I'm like, yes. They're like, oh, so is everybody coming out now? I'm like, yeah, people are finally starting to come out. Because imagine, for other people who actually had worse technical difficulties than me, they had to come out very late, and their parents didn't know, because some of the difficulties happened during the exam and not before the exam, so you couldn't even communicate that. So it was hectic, guys. It was very traumatic in a sense, and very stressful. I'm just so surprised that I managed to keep calm and actually pushed myself to finish. I feel like I gave the credit to God there, because I had prayed that, God, please give me energy, please help me to stay calm. And that's exactly what he did. I had energy throughout the exam. I didn't have pains, because usually, like, I would get pains here in my shoulders. I feel like it's stress, but I didn't have any of that, and I managed to finish. I'm hopeful. Like, I don't know, I don't know what to expect when it comes to the results. I do know that my planning and my thought processes were definitely disturbed, but since I'm a person of faith, so I'm just hoping for the best, even though I know that the situation was not great. And you know, it messed up with my thought process and everything. I'm just gonna keep praying for the best because I believe in miracles. I believe that God can do anything. So that's basically my APC exam experience in a nutshell, guys. I know like some people might have heard from their friends, from their family, or from Twitter, like what happened on that day. I know there are other people out there who definitely have worse experiences than me, because I remember in our group that we studying together for APC, one of the ladies there was actually like, my laptop was not typing. So as soon as when she types, right, it wasn't showing, and then when she retypes that same sentence, the sentences appear double now. And it was like how can you, how, I don't even know. I'm at a loss for words because that is worse than what I went through, and I thought I had it bad. Like no one deserves to go through that in their final board exam, you know. So what I'm sure it was such a painful experience for her, because for her it's not like the system is gonna pause her time. Typing and then having to delete the sentence, the second sentence is like taking more time for you, you know. So it was just a mess, guys, but we here, we gotta keep it moving. Psycha did release an apology later, and they're still doing a bit of deliberations. I'm not sure how exactly they're gonna mark our papers, but they're definitely like marking everything, and then for each and everyone that feels like they want to do a rewrite, they're gonna have to do a rewrite. But that's basically what the resolution is at this point. There's been a meeting that has been scheduled that we can join. I think it's on Monday. Today's Saturday, so it's on Monday the 7th of December, with all the candidates who would like to join. I wonder what they're gonna say there. But yeah, I'm just hoping for the best for everyone who wrote, and I'm just sending love and light to everyone who wrote, because I know it was stressful, and I know it's probably worrying now about your results. You're probably worried about your results. I just hope everything works out for our good somehow. I'm just gonna be positive about it because it happened. We can't change it. I would not like to rewrite, honestly. I would just want to get my results and hear that I passed somehow. So thank you guys so much for joining me and watching my video. If you made it to the end, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me whatever you heard from either your relative or your friend. If you wrote the APC exam, please leave your experience down below so that we can know the extent of what happened. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.